Hello, it's Matt Chapman, and I'm here with Martin Appel, very, very long time HR friend who's in Myanmar, of all places, with Yoma Strategic Holdings as head of HR. Hi, Martin.
Hey, Matt, lovely to speak to you again. It's been a long time.
And just for those listening, Yoma, very interesting role for you, having had a career around the world and particularly Singapore. And you and I have the funny connection that we're both Singapore citizens as well.
Right.
But tell everyone about Yoma and I guess the span of the company.
Sure. It's actually best understood as a family holding group under Serge Pan and Associates. So Serge Pan is the founder and the chairman of the group. They're effectively three listed companies, Yoma Strategic Holdings being one, Memories Travel being another, both listed in Singapore, and First Myanmar Investments, which is listed in Singapore. They're obviously listed and they need to be separate, but we look at them as a group and as a family of companies in six different sectors. So from real estate to healthcare to financial services, food, automotive, and tourism. So I think I may have forgotten one, but that's across those sectors. So pretty widespread, all focused in Myanmar, 100% focused in Myanmar. About 10,000 people across our various businesses. So yeah, group HR is an interesting role in Myanmar at this time. Yeah.
Now, when you think about the COVID situation, you think about, I guess, 2020. What word comes to your mind?
I think lucky actually comes to my mind. I think lucky is the first one. We were very lucky in Myanmar that COVID came to us late. We had our first case on the 23rd of March. So months and months after it was spreading around the world, we only had our first positive case in Myanmar. And in some ways, it was funny. It was a relief actually, because there was some fear that if there were positive cases, we wouldn't find out about them. But once there was a positive case, and we realized no, there is transparency and visibility and so on. That first wave was pretty small, was pretty slow, should I say? So it gave us a lot of time to prepare. So before we even had our first case, we were able to put in things like travel restrictions and education of our staff and the temperature scanning and all those kind of practices. We put in, in January, February. So our first case is only 23rd of March, so well in advance. So I think the word that we have is lucky. That enabled us as a country to really, not be caught in the first shockwave of the whole pandemic.
Now, when we think about resilience, and you and I are both runners, and in fact, I think you, like me, enjoy ultra running as well. But you used the term before that this is an ultra marathon. Tell me more what's on your mind about this.
Yeah, initially, actually, I'm not so much of ultra marathon runner anymore, but initially we were saying, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And even as our COVID committee, we were meeting every day and pretty intense actually. But we amongst ourselves decided that we need to also take a pause, take a break for water and change the shoes and so on. And so if during this period one of us just needs a break, then we should do that, and we did do that. So we early on realized that to be resilient, resilience means being in there for the long haul. And now we're clearly not here for a marathon. We're clearly here for an ultra marathon. So we are in for a long time. And so we've had to change many of the things that we did to cope with that. In some ways, it means taking more breaks. In other ways, it's meant that we just bring things forward. So we've gone from having quarterly meetings. I think about the HR organization. There were certain meetings and reviews that we had quarterly. We now have them monthly. There was a monthly HR meeting which we moved to weekly. And I had, during the first lockdown period, had daily meetings with the core team. So part of the resilience is actually shortening the horizons and shortening the time frame of goals as well. Because to try and look to the end is just too far, and it's too it can be too exhausting. So we try to set much shorter timeframes and goals. What are you going to do today? What are you going to do this week? And then keep ourselves sane for the long all that way.
I like that. I think it's really important to break things down into small pieces. I guess a lot of leaders and companies are grappling with the unknown around how do we keep people energized and motivated for the long term when people have been through so much change and there's been a lot of energy burnt. What's your thoughts on that subject?
Yeah, it is a challenge, and particularly we have a lot of people who actually just can't work at the moment. So Myanmar, we are again very lucky that we have an incredibly loyal staff in Myanmar. In fact, many people came and volunteered to have their salaries cut during the first wave of COVID, saying, we have to keep this company going. We have to try and protect as many jobs as possible, and we've managed to protect jobs. We haven't done any layoffs at all. But in order to do that, there has to be some form of a sacrifice. And so, many people voluntarily want to participate. I think that's part of it as well, is bringing people into the circle, into being able to contribute. So we've tried to be, as much as we can, be completely honest and transparent about good news and bad news, as we've heard it, and just told the story as it is. The visibility of our CEO, as we just ratcheted that up, another 10 notches, I guess. So much more visibility. Just talking to people, and just, this is where we are. We don't know what's coming next, but this is what we're trying to do, and this is how we're trying to stay safe. I think that's been part of trying to part of keeping people engaged. The other is we did things. We moved to work from home, which was absolutely brand new for us in Myanmar. We had 0 people working from home, not a few, 0. As part of our diversity, we always talked about having more flexible work practices, but work from home seemed a few years away, actually. But one of the silver linings of COVID is it just forced us to take action. So we moved into work from home mode like the rest of the world did, very quickly, which meant we had to do some technological ramp ups and things like that. And then implemented a training program, work from home in a box, for managers, which is quite broad, and it covered technical things like how do you just use Zoom and how do you use Teams. But also, what is your responsibility about having more regular meetings with the team, connecting with every person at least every few days, one-on-one, through to how to do presentations virtually, how to manage a virtual team, bunch of things. We also do some social things using social media campaigns. Our Tinjin is a water festival in Myanmar. So we had everybody in the company showing us they're throwing water of themselves and challenging each other to do that, from our chairman to everybody in the organization. We had a number of mask wearing competitions, all sorts of things to try and engage people at different levels. So I guess like everybody, we just keep learning, right? How to live with COVID. Our language now is actually living with COVID. It's not how to get over it. It's not how to bypass it. It's with us. It's going to be with us for a while, and we're going to live with this in this new environment.
Awesome. Thanks for your thoughts. It's really good to catch up with you.
My pleasure, Matt. Thanks. Nice talking to you again.